Thank you, guys.
It's the corporate citizen.
Good. How are you? Good.
Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. It's 5 o'clock right now. So welcome to the Boca Raton Airport Authority meeting for Wednesday, February 15th, 2023. It is 5 p.m. and just a reminder to everybody in the room that this meeting is shown live through YouTube. So everything is being recorded. Let's start with the roll call. Christine? Here.
Present. Here.
Here.
Over here.
Here.
Okay, so for the record, we do have a quorum. I'm going to turn it over just before we start. Clara, you had an introduction to make, Joe, for Joe and Atlantic Aviation.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. It is a pleasure to introduce Joe, who will introduce our new general manager. Congratulations to Joe, who's received a promotion. But thankfully for us, Joe'll still be involved with our airport. We're still one of his bases, but we'll be working day to day with John. So Joe would like to introduce John.
Good evening, everyone. Joe Therian, Atlantic Aviation, 3700 Airport Road. I wanted to formally announce to the airport and the board my successor as general manager of Atlantic Aviation Boca Raton, John Garrity. John comes with us with a lot of experience throughout our network in the industry, working in numerous markets, and we're excited to have his talent join that what's existing in Boca. And I know that he's very passionate about development, both for the team and the facility. And he's coming at a very exciting time when we've had plans in motion, and we're getting close to getting shovels in the ground, getting him up to speed as quickly as possible. So, John Garrity.
Hey guys, happy to be here. Looking forward to getting to know everybody in the coming months. Forgive me if I ask your name too many times. Everybody. So really looking forward to everything and all the structure we've got upcoming. So just happy to be here. Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. Yes.
Hey, I'm Mr. Chair.
Yeah, sure.
Bit of color about yourself. I want some background about yourself, education, where you've been before, why you just love it.
So I went to Jacksonville University, got a degree in aviation management. I got out of school. I was started with a fueler, worked my way through the ranks, ops manager, PM, another location.
Up in Jacksonville?
No, through the network, Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Worked down in Opa-locka, Miami. Just coming from South Bend, Indiana, and happy to be out here.
Compare favorably with you guys.
Yeah. You guys don't the ice is fun.
No. With solar de-icing, we're very green.
And if you survive Miami, this is a piece of cake.
Let's hope so. Outside of that, I was a collegiate rower. I could cook in my spare time. I like to ski, but I think down here I'm gonna maybe get into some surfing.
Water.
The largest ski club in the United States is in Miami. Yes.
Great. Thank you, John. Best wishes.
Welcome.
All right, so let's get started with approval of the minutes. We have two sets of minutes in your package. The first one is for the workshop on January 18th, 2023. You had a chance to review that? A motion on that?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, edits on the workshop minutes? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, workshop minutes approved January 18th. Next is the minutes of our regular meeting, which was held also on January 18th. And look for a motion on that set of minutes.
So moved.
And a motion and a second. Yeah, any questions, comments, edits? Okay, all in favor of those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda changes. Ms. Bennett, do we have any agenda changes?
Yes, sir. There is one agenda change. Unfortunately, Mr. Duffel with the Florida Atlantic University Research Development Authority, the research park, has had a conflict and will not be able to attend. So we will be removing item 9B from the agenda.
So we're gonna call that a postponement. We'll try to get him back.
Yes. Yes, we've offered next month,
Okay.
but as soon as the schedule permits, we will have him back.
Okay, great. All right, next item 4, public request. If any member of the public wishes to provide a comment on any item, the time to do so is now. Please complete a public comment card identifying the item upon which you wish to be heard and provide it to Ms. Landers here off to my left. The public comment cards are located in the back of the room. Each member of the public wishing to comment will be provided with 5 minutes to do so. The chair reserves the right to move the public comment opportunity on a specific agenda item to the point in the agenda when that item is to be considered and or to extend the allotted time for a speaker. So, Ms. Landers, do you have any public comment cards? Okay, none, let's move on. Consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda?
No, sir.
Federal, state, and municipal input.
There is none, although I would like to say that we did tour with new Commissioner Woodward this afternoon.
Okay.
And we invited her to come and present to the board in a future meeting, but none tonight.
Okay. Okay, item 7, financial report. Presentation of the January financial report. Mr. Nobles, any comments on the details?
Just that everybody would have got an updated report, which as of yesterday, we thought we were going to have to do a provisional approval for the January report, but this will be the final approval. We got updates on some legal and some other mainly expense items. So
That's in your handout that you was in front of you.
so with that, I'll turn it over to Rob.
Thanks, Ryan. Okay, Rob?
Yes, thank you. So in your package, the financial report through January 31st of 2023. And like was mentioned, you showed a copy of all the updated numbers. Those do include fuel revenue that we did not have at the time of this one. The original report was created and it also includes some fees. So I didn't know this increase in both those categories, revenues and on the expense side there.
So these are not the updated numbers. 2004-14.
The wrong presentation.
Okay. All right.
In the report, at least, is the updated.
All right, so look at the one, look at that one, then.
Yeah.
All right, so explain the one in front of us.
All right, so. The total operating revenues year to date are about 2.4 million, it's about 10.9% above budget year to date. The total operating expenses year to date are approximately 1.8 million, and that's down approximately 92% budget year to date. The net income before depreciation is about 569,000. So on behalf of Airport Management and Secretary of Treasury, we would respectfully present the January 2023 financial report to you.
Thank you for the updated info. Any questions from Robert? I think you also indicated attorney fees were added. Can you go through that real quick? They're not reflected in these numbers, so.
Yeah, this would be the way to compare.
They're in the memo.
Yeah, the memo has the fees It was.
Take that for the record.
Yeah, it was $18,748 total. 8,191 of that was general legal expenses, and then 10,557 of it was litigation related.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve the updated financial report that was in the handout today for January 2023. Okay, Mitch, motion and a second. No, okay, now any questions? Hopefully we got that understood, everybody. Yeah, okay, no.
Do I want to ask where the litigation stands? Don't I want to ask?
I'll leave that to Amy,
Oh, there you
our counsel.
I can tell you very briefly that we're in the initial pleading stages. We filed a motion to dismiss the complaint. It's currently scheduled for hearing on March 17th. That's a hearing date that might be postponed. I don't think I've mentioned this, John. I'm having a neck surgery March 7th. But we will get the motion to dismiss heard, and then the discovery period will commence.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay. We have a motion and a second, so all in favor of approving the updated financial report for January 2023, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Tenants, reports and requests, Atlantic Aviation has a special event request, and Robert, Brad, are you gonna talk to that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, Robert Pratt, Operations Coordinator. Airport Management has received a request from Atlantic Aviation on behalf of BRAA to host a special event in Hangar 9 on March 8th. They will be hosting the Boca Raton Historical Society with the Schmidt Boca Raton Museum. They're expecting roughly 100 guests to attend, and the event will be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And there will be valet parking provided by Atlantic Aviation. So Airport Management recommends approval of resolution number 02-05-23, granting a conditional approval to Atlantic to hold the event on March 8th, subject to submittal and airport approval of the required safety and security plans. And we do have representation here from Atlantic. Should you have any questions?
Thank you, Robert. I'll look for a motion on that.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions of Robert, Atlantic Aviation? Comments, okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Robert.
Yes, sir.
That museum must be something new. I've never heard of it before.
Well, it was just branded,
Oh,
so that's
okay.
the historical society, but
Yeah,
he donated some money.
Okay.
There you go.
I figured that was at the root.
You too can have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Randy Knowles.
Closet.
Okay. Executive Director and staff reports. First up is the noise abatement operations summary for January 2023, and Hannah Oakland is going to make that presentation. Hannah.
Mr. Chair, good evening. Hello, I'm Operations Coordinator. Before you is the operations and monitoring report for the month of January 2023. During the month of January, there were 7,758 operations, which is 7 more than the operation we had here last year. Jetty deliveries were up by 7% compared to January of last year, and avgas deliveries were up 71% compared to January. There were 7 different households that filed noise concerns during the month, most of which were from the online web portal. During the month of January, Customs had 220 aircraft clearings, which is up from 151 total clearings from January 2022. There is 1 vessel clearing as well for the month. These 220 aircraft were up in a total of 22 different countries. And there were 76 after hours clearing last month, 6 of which occurred on days when the facility was normally closed. And that concludes the operations report for the month of January. I You have that answer any questions.
Any questions on the report? It's like we were busy, so thank you very much.
Very busy.
Yeah. 9B, it was the FAU Research and Development Authority. It's been taken off the agenda. So we're on 9C, Architectural Engineering Consultant Contract Award. And Ms. Bennett, I'll turn it over to you for a couple presentations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Scott Cohat, our Deputy Director, who has been working on this project among many, is unfortunately under the weather. And so he's asked me to take care of this, these two items on his behalf. As the board will recall, we've been working for a few months through the consultant selection negotiation process, the CCNA process, to put out a request for qualifications, evaluate, shortlist, and rank firms that are capable of providing services related to architectural, engineering, mechanical, civil, etc. For the various projects that you see listed here included in the procurement. The process allows us or requires us rather to evaluate firms based on their qualifications, the team's abilities to do the work. And this is a representative of the projects that are within our CIP. There will likely be others that are added, but these are the projects that are in the existing capital improvement program. We received 6 total responses to the RFQ in the fall. We shortlisted to 3, and we have negotiated with the top 2 that was presented to the board a couple of months ago. The 2 top firms are Kimley Horn and Garber, both of whom are represented here this evening. The next step in the process that just was completed and the basis of the contract award today is we negotiated rates for the various individual positions that will be providing work as part of the engagement, everything from a principal all the way down to the administrative and clerical positions of the various categories of positions that will be required. Those rates are in the contract documents that are before you today. The initial rates for both of the firms we've reviewed for comparable airports in the area that similar projects, and they are in line. And they're somewhat in line with what we have with Recondo as well. The Recondos are a few years old now; they're 5 years old. The initial rates for one of the firms are a little bit higher, but there is no escalator. The rate for the other company is a little bit lower, but there is an escalator. So eventually they sort of even out. And our recommendation is to award to both firms this evening as listed in the resolution. The intent and the way that the work will be conducted is that we will have an opportunity to work with both firms depending on the type of work that we need done, the number of projects that we have done with each firm, and leverage the resources of each firm to best meet the needs of the airport authority, so that if one firm has multiple projects, the other firm can step in. But overall, the requirement that we have is that each firm be treated equitably. We can't favor one or the other, but we think that with these 2 firms, given their backgrounds and their capabilities, we should be able to get the work done that we need, equitably with each of the 2 firms working side by side here for us.
And then how do they interact with Recondo?
Recondo has, I think they have 2 years left on their existing, I think 1 more option period left, I believe, from the one that we just extended. The Recondo, it will be continuing to provide the planning services. That's really their specialty. They really are more of a planning firm. With our engagement over the last number of years, they've done everything, but a lot of the work has been done through sub-consultants because they don't do the engineering work directly. And so they will continue to do the master plan, for example, that's underway, some of the SMS implementation and some of the other planning studies for the remainder of their engagement, their contract term with the airport authority.
Well, let's take each item separately then. So resolution 2623 is the agreement with Kimley Horn and Associates. So you're recommending approval of both of these, but let's go with the first one. Okay, I'm looking for a motion on the Kimley Horn and Associates contract. Val and Mitch, okay. Definitely.
Mr.
Any
Chair,
questions on that? Yeah.
I do have a question on process. Oftentimes when we're looking at outside consulting firms in other sectors like marketing, advertising, PR, an approach that is used is a combined rate, a blended rate. But you were referencing negotiating rates for principals, rates for, others on the way down. Is the blended rate model not something that is used typically in the aeronautical sector?
No, I don't believe that the statute allows for that. The statute calls for each particular function to be, and Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's done by each individual function. So that when we have a task that we need done, a design of a taxiway project, for example, we will develop a scope, and company A will then provide rates for the different levels of positions, sorry, not rates, but hours for the different levels of positions required to meet that scope. And so, for example, they'll say we need 10 hours for
I
a
think the
design
hours
engineer.
part, it is
But
the
it's-
whole approach of the blended is what.
No, it's based on the individual position, and I believe that's a requirement of the Consultant Selection Negotiation Act.
I'll confirm. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it seems like it would be hard to blend because you got a whole variety of people with all kinds of different.
Well,
from what I
again,
saw.
the reason I asked is because in dealing
Yeah.
with other clients
Right.
of mine,
Yeah.
we do look at, that's a lot of the bids that come in.
Right.
From agencies, advertising,
Mhm.
communications, that are blended.
Right. Yeah, the
Fair enough.
I can tell you from the airport manager's perspective, what's vital is to be able to break down those individual positions, because that's where we negotiate the actual work that will be done at the appropriate level. I can tell you that there are times when I will receive a task authorization that will have a certain number of hours for a higher level position. And I will say, well, that's great if you're going to use that person, but this work really does not call for
Require
that
that,
level.
yeah.
It could be done at a lower level at that rate. You can still use that other person, but the rate would be more appropriate at this level.
And often in the sector that I'm talking about, it's the other way around.
Exactly.
We're trying to get
You
the
want
higher
the-
level person.
Right,
So,
exactly.
all right, I get it.
Any other questions or comments on Kimley Horn contract? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimously carries. All right, let's talk about the Garber engineers. That's resolution 2723. Again, the airport management recommend approval of this.
Yes, sir.
So we got a motion.
Second.
Second from Randy. Okay, again, any questions, comments, other issues? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations to the two contractors and good luck. I look forward to working with you. Thank you. Okay, next item, D, information technology service contract amendment. So, Bennett, would you talk about that too?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The board may remember that about 2 or 3 months ago, we had an amendment to this contract based on some equipment and software subscriptions and things that we needed. And in talking with Eric Solms with Simplify, who is here now, and looking at the way that our contract was set up, the way we set this up was sort of the old school model of a lump sum per year for kind of a grouping of services. But what we've discovered as issues have come up and as the sort of, cybersecurity complexity of things have come up is that the contract does not give us a lot of flexibility to respond to those issues by buying a specific piece of equipment or obtaining a specific subscription for software that then the Simplify folks can administer for us. So what is being recommended is that we amend the contract. I think we have 2 option periods left in the contract to allow us to do that, to acquire software or hardware through the vendor, through a Simplify on a cost plus basis. For the cost of the equipment or the software with a 10%, it's sort of an administrative overhead that Simplify would apply to then implement the system and the software and the hardware that we are acquiring. So we believe that will help us be a little bit more flexible and more timely in responding to some of the technology issues that sometimes do come up that otherwise would require us coming back to the board for approval of those specific items, as we've had to do in the past. So our recommendation is to amend the contract per resolution number 020923, authorizing the amendment for the contract with Simplify for Technology Services.
0208. Did you say nine?
Yes, I wasn't wearing my glasses. Yeah, sorry.
0208.
0208. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm on top of it.
Yeah.
Doing what I hope. Don't count on this every month. but-
So moved.
Okay. Over a second. Second. Okay, so. All right, any questions or comments? Discussion. Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Congratulations, Eric. Thank you. Good luck on that as well. Okay, next item, accounting policy and procedure manual. This is, so Robert Abbott is gonna present this one. I happened to be looking at that one while you were talking.
I'll put my glasses back on.
That's the whole story.
Need coffee for this one.
Yeah. Okay.
Accounting.
Robert, please proceed.
So for this proposed amendment to the Boca Raton Airport Authority Accounting Policy Procedure Manual. There are actually two items being amended as a part of this resolution. The first is to bring our ACH legal limitations up to be in par with what our check signing policy is. So that will allow ACH payments up to 25,000. That, like I said, is in line with our checks. Currently it's at 10,000. Just has 25. The second change is to bring our internal transfers from our grant reimbursement account to our operating account up from 500,000 to 1 million. It's just kind of with how things are going, you know, the prices are higher, it makes more sense for us to be able to transfer more over at the same time from our grant reimbursements. So as noted in the memo, the authority's external auditor has reviewed the amendment and concurs with the recommendation. So with that, airport management and the secretary treasurer recommend approval of resolution 020923, adopting the amended accounting policy.
Okay, so I'll look for a motion on that. Mel, okay, second. Sure. Okay.
So this is really just a best practices type.
That is correct.
Same thing at the charity.
That is correct. Okay.
Any other comments or questions about any of the changes? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, unanimously approved for item 2923. All right, next item. Request to approve amendment to the public transportation grant agreement. And Robert Abbott, you got this one too?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
go for it.
So Florida Department of Transportation has offered a second amendment to the PTGA for the development of the observation area. This is based on revised engineers estimates. So FDOT is currently offering an additional 460,000, which brings their share to 790,000 total. The airport revised share is 197,200, and the airport's capital budget includes 82,500, which was the original grant amount, our match. The balance totaling 114,700 is available in the airport reserve balance, and will be transferred to the capital budget. So with that, airport management does recommend approval of resolution number 021023, amending the public transportation grant agreement for the Department of Transportation for design and construction of the airport observation area.
Hell of a deal.
Right. Yep. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll move for that.
Okay.
I have a question.
Second. No? Okay, any comments, question?
Yes, but what was the amendment that they wanted? That
There-
creates
it am-
deposit?
the grant amount that the state will participate in increases to $790, which is an additional $460,000. They're giving additional $460,000 towards the project.
Right, so I bet I understand, but what was did the budget increase for the totality of it? As we went back and asked for more, is that what exactly happened?
That is correct. At last month's meeting, I believe it was, we presented a revised engineering cost estimate. The last time that the board saw this was about almost 3 years ago. There was a change, there was several changes to the scope of the project, including the canopy structure, which was the biggest cost item, as well as the additional electrical service. So we went back to the state after the board reviewed the cost estimate and explained the reasons for the increase, being those two major things, plus just, 3 years have gone by and a pandemic with costing issues. And they accepted the rationale in the revised budget and have offered an additional 460,000, which the 790, which is the new project total that the airport, that the DOT will participate in, equals 80% of the revised project budget.
That's great.
Randy,
Not a question, just a comment. I mean, kudos to Claire and staff for getting this. I think it speaks to our, historical ability to be able to deliver, is to be able to go back and to get things, like this. I mean, because that have been, something for us to have to pick up out of our budget. So great job.
Thank you.
And relationship building.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
of course.
And the importance of the project.
Yeah,
Great.
any idea when it's gonna open?
Well, the goal, the goal is the end of December, in time with our, culmination of our 75th anniversary activities. The couple of good things have happened in the last week. One is we've completed the front end documents to release the invitation for request for proposals. It's being advertised. I think Travis did the advertising today for Sunday. Typically, those are historically done on Sundays. And the way we've structured the project, you may recall, is as a progressive design build, meaning that, traditional world, what we typically do for a taxiway or other type of project is our engineers design to 100% and we release a bid, and then we get the low bidder. And in this case, what we're doing is a little bit different. We're doing a progressive design build process where the companies will be invited to present based on qualifications to do this type of work. There are requirements that they show that they have done a certain number of similar projects within the last 10 years. And the selection will be made based on a scoring of points based on capabilities of the firm and the individuals, as well as the experience in this relevant type of project. The selected firm, we hope to bring back the recommendation of the committee in April to the board. And then they will complete the design to 100% engineering plans, and at 60%, they'll give us an opinion of cost, and then at 90% a guaranteed maximum price. So that is the process. We hope, again, there's an aesthetic element and their design features that we want to make sure that the company that is actually building it is the one that's actually doing the 100% design of the project and guarantee that they can build it. Two good things have happened in addition to completion of the front end documents, is we presented the concept to the Research Parks Maintenance Committee, which is a requirement, but because, as you know, this is on Research Park property. And they were really enthusiastic, had great response to the project, gave some good input. We'll be bringing it back to them at the 60%. And the best news of all, besides the money, is that FAA has approved what is called the 7460, which is the notice of proposed alteration. So basically the airspace study. You'll recall that this was delayed, and we tabled this project for almost a year, waiting to discuss that with FAA, the goings on with the master plan, the modification of standards. So we submitted it once we resolved those questions with FAA, and they have approved the project from an airspace process. So that was great news. They just did that on Monday.
Sure.
We're not mandated to select the lowest bidder, are we?
No, the way we
Combination of factors.
correct cost will be a factor
Right.
eventually at the when they come and present, but it will not be the overriding factor. Of course, the budget is published as part of the solicitation.
No, I understand,
documents.
But they will be incentivized, or I guess there will be extra points for meeting the deadline in December, right? That's going to be an important.
That'll
part.
be a factor. One of the selection criteria is their approach to cost and schedule. That is a very important part of the selection criteria that that is included in the request for qualifications.
Right.
Be prepared to expand the parking lot.
Yes.
It'd be a good problem, right?
Yeah.
I would love that.
People
Okay,
are
any
excited
other
about it.
comments or questions on this item? We already had a motion and a second on item 210.3. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimously carried. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. Our last agenda item. Is the Boca Raton Airport Authority Enabling Act legislation update. There any news on that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. It's progressing through in the federal, or sorry, the state legislative process. Of course, the session hasn't started. It will start in 2 weeks. You and Scott will be there, Mr. Chair. It was part of the Palm Beach County Days, but we did receive an update yesterday from Chris Lyon with the firm who is shepherding the project through the process up in Tallahassee. There is one change that was made to the way we structured the bill. We structured the local bill as a new law, which is what had happened, I believe, in 2004. And what is being suggested is that, and this is through Representative Gossett Seidman's office, that it be presented as an amendment to the bill, to the existing law rather than new law, which is makes sense to us. So that's fine. But in reviewing the draft that they revised, there don't appear to be any other substantive changes. We're still going through that review, but the big change is just the format of the bill, making it an amendment to the existing law rather than new law.
Okay, great.
But we do have a sponsor, our new representative, and I believe Mike Caruso, Representative Caruso is a co-sponsor as well.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yes, and you met with our new state representative as well last month, right, with Chitor. Were you here for that meeting?
Yes.
Mhm,
Gus decided.
mhm.
Okay, any other questions, comments on that? All right, moving toward the end, authority board member time, any comments? Plus,
I would like to congratulate Ms. Bennett for spearheading the women's bill for Habitat for Humanity. I saw a great kickoff event there, and I
Thank
think
you.
it's wonderful to represent the airport and that great cause.
And
While we're at it, share with us what in the world that is.
Yes,
You know, my next question.
use it to do some arm work.
You're a wrestler? That's what I thought.
It's actually really neat. And so Christina and I we're saying we need to get a display case. This is actually a really beautiful award. This is the Airport Authority was recognized by the George Snow Fund at their Saturday night cowboy ball. Thank you, Ms. Butt, for attending with us. It was a great event and it's a great recognition. And it's for the entire Airport Authority for the corporate community involvement that the Airport Authority does. So thank you all for allowing us to do these kinds of things. And this is a recognition of the organization's role in the community and the impact that we're making in the community. But it is really neat. It's kind of heavy. You're
You're gonna wear it?
Don't wanna wear it.
Yeah,
I need another surgery.
hands down.
Wow.
So we don't have a trophy case or a weighted.
No, we've been spreading them around. I think we need it.
Because I think that would be a wonderful
Right.
addition.
Yeah.
Obvious people coming in, seeing how we're giving back to the community.
See if we can get a grant.
Nice.
And don't put Mitch's picture.
Wow, that.
Now, Tim called me back in early December, or late November, and said that he was going to be recognizing the Airport Authority. I of course was incredibly grateful and honored, and I thought, what a great way to kick off our 75th anniversary
Good hand, Cheryl.
with this recognition.
Right.
We'll be taking turns wearing it. It actually is a working belt buckle. You take it out of the case, you see how it looks. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Any comments, questions,
No,
any
none.
issues?
Nothing.
Good, Gene? Good, Shannon? Okay. All right, any public comments, any cards received, none here, none. Miscellaneous, the next meeting is scheduled for March 15th, right here at 5 p.m. Any other new business? All right, I'll look for motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Good meeting.